Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com.
I'm Bob. How's it going?
Bob and I are here today to share our experiences thus far with ZipFit Liners.
Yeah, and I think that we're both looking forward to this conversation, and people have been very interested in our experiences since kind of we shared that we were going to be skiing in them this year. And, there's been a few comments coming in over time that are kind of like, I'd love to get your feedback.
Yeah.
And I've kind of replied with rather terse responses, like, if this is anywhere on your radar, just get it.
Just get it.
And it's pretty fun to talk about a product that way.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could just end it right there. Like, yeah, if it's on your radar and it's something that you're considering, chances are you're going to like it. And like we can talk about these things as we go through, but like there's sort of barriers to entry. One of them is that they're not cheap.
Yep.
So, it's not like just an impulse purchase. Like I bought a pack of gum today. That was an impulse purchase.
Yeah, or even like just a $40 pair of like Superfeet footbeds.
100%.
That's an easy thing to upgrade your ski boot fit without spending a lot of money.
Yeah, you're in the $500 range here.
Yeah.
This is the Gara LV, kind of getting ahead of ourselves, and I believe yours are $550.
Yeah, mine are a little pricier.
Yeah. So this will be fun. We'll each kind of share our own experience with them, and then we have a couple other fun features that we thought would be interesting and entertaining.
Yeah.
So before we get into kind of your experience, Bob, like what is this all about? Like a custom ski boot liner?
Yeah.
What's the deal here?
Right. Like why would anyone need to replace either a brand new or an old ski boot liner?
Right.
And that's where ZipFit comes in. And this company, quite simply specializes in aftermarket liners.
Yeah.
And their secret sauce is really in the cork application in the heel and the ankle area. And we'll get to this, at some point, but really the benefit there is that ultimate lock and connection to the boot. Whereas a stock liner might not have as stiff or as direct of a contact, kind of bringing that transfer of energy from your leg to the snow faster.
Yeah.
So in many ways, ZipFit specializes in doing two things that boots are trying to do, which is increase fit and boost performance.
Yeah.
So very few products do both.
Yeah.
And I think that I found, and I'm not going to speak for you, but I believe that you feel this way, that this is one of the few products that really makes a difference in the skiing experience from a stock product.
Yeah, I mean, I put this in like my written section.
Yeah.
I was unaware that there was a product on the market that would change my skiing experience as profoundly as this has.
Yeah.
Like my fault,
For not knowing.
For not knowing. Yeah, but I think a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of looked at these like Ryan Daniel skis in them.
Yeah.
And I've always been like, that's like a Ryan Daniel thing.
Right. That's a racer thing.
That's like a ski racer thing. Like, I don't need that. And like, I mean, couple things weren't on my bingo card this year. These things without buckles, like, I just don't know. And then like, just the profound difference that this provides.
Yeah, and just to give a bit of perspective before I get into my experience, like this is a brand new liner from a top-of-the-line Technica Mach 1 130 LV boot.
Yeah.
This is a really nice product.
Really nice liner.
This is a high-quality liner and a really well-made product.
Yeah.
So what on earth would possess someone to take this and just get rid of it and put this in there? And I feel like that's been a really fun aspect of, I think, probably 40 days on snow I have on the ZipFit.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar range.
So a decent amount of time I think spent so far.
Yeah, and before we get into it, I think that's a good introduction, and we can get right into your experience here in a second. Like, I don't think everybody needs this.
No. Especially since this product exists.
Those liners that you pointed out, like there's a K2 Cortex right over there. The liner in that is very impressive. Atomic Mimic liners are very, very impressive. I talked about that last year in the Hawks Ultra XTD a lot. And like those liners are going to provide plenty of performance for most
Right.
skiers. This is like another thing. Like if you've gone down every other path so far, so like your boots are pretty small, probably. You know, you're going with a performance fit, and you've got a full custom footbed.
Yeah.
Like a true custom, you know, $200-300 footbed. If you've done that, and you're still like, oh, I wonder if there's something else,
Yeah.
then I think this comes into play.
Yeah.
But do I think everybody out there should be ripping the stock liner out of their boots and getting zip fits? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And it might seem that way because most of this is going to be extremely positive.
Well, we get to the dislikes too.
Yeah.
So
With that said, Bob, tell me about your experience so far.
So this is a ZipFit Workhorse. It is a high volume. So to me, that means there's more cork involved. I typically ski in a mid-volume boot. So I had originally planned on pairing this with a new Dalbello Veloce 130 mid-volume. And you were there when we took them out of the bag.
Yeah.
And I put my footbed in and I put it in the Veloce, no molding, no nothing. Stood up in the office, flexed forward, and I'm like, this is a different thing.
Yep.
Like, this is impressive. The Workhorse specifically has leather on the outside and the inside. This white material on the inside is leather as well.
I believe ZipFit says that it's designed for skiers who work in their boots.
Yeah, and I have some things to say about that
Sure.
as someone who works in my boots.
Yeah,
but
I think they're more referring to like ski
I
patrol.
know, yeah, like the whole day. No, I hear you. But the one thing I noticed is that the leather, like, it sticks to the outside of the shell here, and then it also sticks to your sock here. So not only is
very
your
different.
foot confined more by this cork material, but it's also being held in place through the leather.
Yeah.
So the boot, when you flex it, it feels quite a bit stiffer, and there is no movement with the heel and ankle.
Yeah.
And I could have skied them right then and there. I wanted to go through the molding process, so brought them to the boot shop, put them in the microwave for 30 seconds.
You did yours at the boot shop?
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
And then I remolded them at home.
Fancy, okay.
Yeah. And so it really doesn't take that long to just kind of loosen that material up.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I had the laces and the strap in, and I feel like that's a better way to go about molding the boots.
Yep.
You really do want to lace them up when you are molding or remolding.
I agree.
And then you can put the boot in the shell that you want to ski. But now I don't do that. So,
Yep.
but yeah, from there to snow was really impressive. Even just skating over from, I mean, I skied on them day one.
Yep.
You know, and I think you thought I was crazy for doing
Yeah, it took.
that. but-
I don't think I did for like a week
yeah.
to start the season.
And like from just pushing off towards the chairlift on a flat.
This the cuff.
Yeah, you like, I felt more connected to my ski.
Yeah.
So not even before skiing,
Yeah.
I was like, this is a different thing in terms of performance. Not to mention my foot is just 100% in the boot.
Yeah. And what about actually skiing? Just
Actually,
continuation of that.
I mean, it is so much more of a direct connection.
Yeah.
And I think anyone that has skied in these ZipFits will agree with that.
Yeah.
That the friction of distance between when you make your movement in your foot and lower leg to when that energy goes to the snow is like that.
It is. It's wild.
You don't realize, even in such a nice liner like this, how
The
much
loss of power.
how much power you're losing.
Yeah.
So I've never felt more connected to my skis as I have in these liners.
Yeah. Anything else, or is it my turn?
You can go. I'm sure we'll get back to me on some likes and dislikes, but
Okay.
yeah, love to hear your input.
So I've been skiing in the Gara LV. It's intended for low to mid volume boots. I've actually used it in both. I've skied it in these speed machines. I've skied it in a speed machine with a single boa. I've skied it in that Cortex, but that was a struggle. That boot's really small.
Conversation for a different day.
That's a different topic. It might work eventually. I skied them in my Shadow, which is a low volume boot. I threw them in that Armada AR1. So I've skied them in a lot of different things, and it does surprisingly work pretty well across all those different boots. for me, it feels best in the Speed Machine, which kind of makes sense because that's like the boot that I used to initially mold them and get them going. I went through a few different iterations. I guess to start, before I get into that, mine is a lot different than yours. Mine is much more neoprene based. So like the inside of my boot, instead of the leather that Bob has, is, I think it's 3mm neoprene. As a whitewater kayaker, feel right at home, sticking my body in neoprene. But it is different. You know, yours like looks a little bit more rugged. This material around the ankle, I think, is still just as strong. Yours is just leather wrapped. Yeah. So just a slight difference between them. I know ZipFit has said that like this is their most universal or most versatile liner in terms of like different boots that it can work for and different people. So anyways, I started the season in Speed Machine 130 with just the lower BOA. And I think admittedly, like I just wasn't really emotionally ready to dive head first into liner first life. And my instincts were like, no, I don't need to do that. Yeah. I'm just gonna put the liner in the boot. So I took the laces out, I took the top strap out, and I just was using them like normal liners for, I don't know, a week maybe? I really have no idea. But for a duration of ski days. And the performance was all there. Everything that Bob was saying about the performance was off the charts. But getting them on was a real struggle, like almost impossible. And like I'm a reasonably strong, flexible person, and it took 100% of my strength.
Yeah, you've put boots on in your life. You know how the process goes.
Yeah, and like I didn't really enjoy that. Yeah. And it really got to the point where I was like, I'm not doing this right. So then I went completely the other direction, put the laces back in, put the upper strap in, and kind of like adopted that liner first, World Cup into your shell lifestyle. And I'm not going back, I don't think. And like again, I've never thought of myself as that type of skier, and I guess I'm learning that like it doesn't matter really what type, like this, it can work for a vast variety of different skiers. Yeah. Ultimately, I've landed on this. So as you can see, I still have the laces in here. I took the upper strap back out for a couple of reasons. The way that the strap works, it overlaps like 3 times basically. Like it goes in and then back, and then you like Velcro it. So it ends up being kind of thick, like the strap itself. And I couldn't put my finger on it for a while, but I was starting to get like pressure in one spot on my shin, or more pressure, and a little bit of a hot spot sort of. And I realized it was right where that strap was. Yeah. And there's also this like lace cincher thing that I think, you know, if you get that underneath the strap, and then it can be a lot. And I just tried this. I tried laces with no strap, and for me, I really like it. You do lose a little bit of upper cuff precision, but you know, having a freestyle park skiing background, if anything, losing a little bit of upper cuff precision is kind of nice, because I just get like a little bit of forgiveness for landing switch and skiing switch and stuff like that, and all the control over my boot and my skis comes from right here.
I think I agree, and I think you realize how little kind of from here up matters. Yeah, and we can talk about here forward too, but these liners really emphasize this zone, the ankle zone, which is really impressive.
And then the other thing that like is great is like the tongue itself has like hard plastic, or I assume it's plastic, on the outside, which is different than anything I've ever skied in, I'm pretty sure. And that was another thing. Like I don't feel like I need to have like this huge crazy closure up here, because you can't really bend the tongue. So it's not like I'm losing, it's not like I'm gonna go over the handlebars because the boot's not keeping me upright. So yeah, I've been very happy with it. I brought my boots because people have been asking what it looks like putting them on with the double boas. It's still not easy. I am certainly getting better at it. There's a couple little tricks that you need to do, and I'll share those things. It's still like this is going to be unfair because we're inside, we're in a warm building. If I'm outside and it's cold and I'm doing it in a cold shell, it's still really hard. And like this morning, we skied for 2 hours this morning.
Yeah.
It was a struggle getting them off.
Yeah. I don't have any problem getting them off. On is a little slower.
Yeah.
But I also think that lace-up model works great for if you live slope side or are taking a bus, where you can put them on inside.
Yeah.
What we do up there on a daily basis
Booting
is
up
very
in
much
the
like,
lot.
yeah, we put our boots on in the parking lot, ski, take them off, leave.
Yeah.
And that to me doesn't seem like it's in the spirit of ZipFit lace up first.
Yeah, but
protocol.
That's what Ryan Daniels always done. I've always seen him behind his car,
Yep.
lacing up his liners and then getting his boots on. So it is possible, and like at this point, I'm very comfortable doing it.
Yeah, to each their own. And I think that and also we're not ZipFit experts.
Yeah.
We are a month and a half into this.
Totally.
So
People with way more experience.
we are learning as we go as well.
Yeah. Last thing I want to talk about before I hand it off to you for our likes and dislikes, Bob, is this forefoot area. So I don't know that you really talked about this. I assume you will because we've both talked about it a ton.
Yeah.
But because it locks you in so well in the heel, it doesn't need to be tight at all in the forefoot. And if any, it's like actually designed to not be tight. So it's like it's the tightest boot I've ever felt through my ankle in a good way. And then I guess the loosest boot I've ever felt in the forefoot area.
Yeah, but in such a good way.
In such a good way, yeah. So it lets your foot spread out.
Yep.
It's very comfortable. I've never had toe bang because it doesn't let you slide.
You don't move.
It doesn't let you slide forward in the boot. And then it's also warmer. So the neoprene itself is pretty warm. And then in this boot, I don't know about yours, but I have thinsulate and merino wool.
There's definitely wool in
the
there.
toe box.
Very, very nice.
You can feel the actual wool. And it's just it's been mind-blowing to me. And this part of the boot, I understand everything that's going on back here.
Yeah.
I understand the benefit of the stiffness of this cuff, the power transfer, the ankle hold. But why don't other companies do this?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this other liner in and kind of show the difference between
there's nothing.
that there's nothing here in this forefoot.
Yeah.
And then, this high-end liner has, it is moldable material.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of tight stitching, and this is
tons
across
of
the
stitching.
board. I'm
Yeah.
not picking
No,
on Technica here.
Sorry, Technica.
But most boots have very tight stitching, and they even have a delineation line where if they just ended it there and went this, I don't know if they have a patent on this style of forefoot or what, but the fact that this is incredibly stiff and bulky.
Yeah.
And I think that they do that because most people are in boots that are too big anyway.
And they need it.
They need it.
Yeah.
But
I think you're right.
at the same time, it makes too much sense.
I know.
So
What's up with that?
I don't know.
Anyways, so I like cars. I watch a YouTube channel periodically called Car Wow. I recently saw a video where when reviewing a car, he went through 5 likes and 5 dislikes. So I thought that we could do that as well for these because it's really easy for me to sit here and just say all sorts of good things.
Yep.
But Bob, starting with you, give me your 5 likes and 5 dislikes.
All right, 5 likes and top and easy was the forefoot fit. I think that's the biggest difference between a zip fit like this and a stock liner. And I have trouble with my forefoot. So for me, that is a huge bonus.
Yep.
And then second and close second is ankle and heel fit.
Yep.
And with these, you're getting resulting performance. With your ankle and heel being locked in, you're getting just that ultimate boost in performance and connection.
Yeah.
Number 3, this one might catch you off guard, Jeff. The leather smells great. I'm not going to sit here and sniff my boots on the internet, but
Sure.
They don't smell like feet. For this Workhorse at least,
Yep.
they smell like really nice leather.
Mine smell like kayaking gear.
Oh, great.
Neoprene.
4 is that direct connection.
Yep.
Like you're just not losing any movement at all. It is 100% efficient.
Yep.
And just 100% direct. And then 5th, I really like the modularity and the
Sure.
moldability.
The ability to use it in different boots.
You can use it in different boots.
Yep.
The remolding process is quite simple. It's like,
Yep.
for me, it was 30 seconds in the microwave.
That's what I did too.
Just
I meant
in-
to talk about that.
Yeah,
but
just enough to kind of loosen this material up.
Yeah.
And then I still do have the laces and the strap.
my microwave is not very. My wife decided to buy a very cool looking microwave
Yeah.
that doesn't function well. So I actually technically did mine for 40 seconds, but
Yeah.
I did it in 10-second bursts.
Yeah, I
just to
think-
make sure that it wasn't like getting too squishy.
Yeah.
So.
I don't. Obviously, seeing a professional to have this done is
That's my record.
is
We
the
can
right
talk,
way to
yeah,
go,
maybe
but,
we can talk about that at the end.
Yeah, I think the ability to take this out and put it in different boots. I've had the most skiing success in this Mach 130.
Yeah.
But I have had more comfort success in that Veloce and in the Purple Solomon, the S Pro Alpha BOA.
Yep.
So I really like the ability to move the liner between the boots, and you get a slightly different feel between them.
Okay. What about dislikes?
Price, and we can talk about this. I'm sure that's on your list of dislikes.
Maybe, maybe not.
So $550 for
Yep.
a liner that you already have a really good one. I mean, these are probably what, $300 or something like that.
I think 200. Yeah, on average.
So they're not cheap either. But I just like with premium skis, I'd like to try to find out different ways to budget to make this more of a reality.
Sure.
So I was thinking last night, if you're skiing in a $600 jacket and you're not satisfied with your boots, you've made a wrong decision.
Because you could get a $400 jacket.
You could get a $100 jacket.
Put all that money into
put
boots.
all the money into the ZipFit. There's just things you can do to help defray and justify the cost.
I'm going to put a caveat there that I don't think you should buy a $100 jacket so you can buy a
I
ZipFit.
think if
Please,
you're at
please
all,
buy appropriate jacket.
but if you're at all serious about
No, I know what you mean.
upgrading your performance and comfort in a boot, and you're spending that type of money elsewhere in your equipment where you don't have to,
Yep.
this is a better use of that money.
Yep, sure.
Stuff like not going out to eat. We say this with like Stokely skis.
Yep.
Like just don't go out to dinner a few times
Yep.
over the course of the year, and there's your
There's
ZipFit.
your Montero AX.
Yeah. So there are ways. And like at the end of the day, and we've said this before with boot reviews and videos,
Yep.
if your boots don't fit, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what coat you have. It doesn't matter what skis you
Skis you're
have.
on now.
Nothing matters. If you're not connected and comfortable in your boots, that's it.
Yeah, it's
And
very, it's
it's
very
like the
true.
end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Difficulty to enter, and just that I'm not a racer style person.
Yep, sure.
So I put this thing in the shell and I step in like normal.
Yep.
We've kind of heard, people have commented that doing that you can kind of push the material down
I can understand
over
how that would
time, and I
happen.
totally get that. But given the ability to remold it, I'm not like,
You're not concerned.
right. And after 40 days on them, I haven't noticed really
Change.
any difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're hard to get in. They're
Yep.
hard, like this boot with this liner is
slips right
so easy to get into.
Yeah.
My boot, and I'm jealous of yours, my liner, I should say, does not have Velcro for a rear spoiler.
Oh, sure.
And I know it's a quick trip to the hardware store to get a little piece of sticky Velcro to
Yep.
put there to take my spoiler here and plop it there.
Yep.
But this doesn't have it. So
Okay.
I would expect from such a premium product like this to have that type of fit and finish.
Was that your third dislike?
That is my third dislike.
Okay. What do we got for 4 and 5?
Number 4, I am ruined for all other liners.
For now.
There's for now, there's no going back. That's just
Yep.
knowing that this exists makes it difficult to
Yep.
go back.
And like you, I don't want to speak for you, but I believe you've skied in Intuition liners.
Not Alpine.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I have a lot,
I like them.
and they don't feel the same.
Yeah, they're
Intuition
not the
liners.
same.
Yeah.
And number 5 is that from like a purchasing perspective, I find it hard or confusing to select the right one. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
When you have to go to ZipFit.com,
Yeah.
maybe speak to someone there, let them know what boot you have, where you measure, how you find
Yeah.
it out. Because there's different options. So there's the Gara, low volume, high volume, a touring
Yeah.
option. So like from a shopping perspective, unless you go into a boot shop that sells ZipFits, I think it's difficult to know what you're going to get.
Well, and that's interesting. So like our boot shop here in Stowe, we sell ZipFits.
Yeah.
But we don't have every different type.
Right.
And I don't know for sure, but I can't imagine there are many shops out there that carry every ZipFit liner in a full size run.
Right.
So yeah, I would reach out to us if you need help. Or
I don't know.
Or ZipFit.
Like that's kind of the things that we're kind of learning as we go here too. That
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to take a skier, their boot, and their foot and say you're a Gara LV.
Right.
Like I can't do that.
Yeah. Are you ready for my likes and dislikes?
Can't wait.
They're very similar to yours, so I'll probably go pretty quickly. So my 5 likes. The first one is just the secure hold through the ankle. You truly you can't move. I guess if your boots are like wildly loose, then you might be able to move. But if you're buckling your boots up tight enough, probably speaking more to me than you because you've got that leather thing that just sticks. Like, there's been like one time where I barely dialed the boa, and then I was like, oh, okay, I need to tighten that up a little bit.
But it's amazing how one extra latch makes such a difference.
Yeah, and you're really locked in there. Second, and I already talked about this, but how loose it allows your forefoot to be. I've never felt anything like that. And like I like skiing in the smallest boots I can, but my forefoot is not necessarily narrow. So that's like I run into issues with that a lot. 6 toe pain and just general kind of like crushing of your like your foot knuckles.
Yeah. I
Like,
still get that. I have to widen. I
don't.
Boots. Yeah.
So in past seasons, really every ski season in recent memory, I feel like throughout the course of the year, it's actually changing the shape of my foot. And then I start golfing and stuff like that, and my foot spreads out again. I don't feel like that's happening this year, which is awesome.
Yep.
I don't want my feet to change shape. Third is how warm they are. I already talked about it, but I struggle with cold toes. I have my whole life. I blame all the Nordic ski racing and just being cold in Lycra. These are incredible. I still get cold feet, but it doesn't happen as quickly. Fourth, the power transfer and the consistent uniform pressure against your shin. I've been talking about that too with the double boa boots. I feel like the combination is just incredible, like off the charts of like how consistent the pressure is against your shin. And like the example that I keep bringing up is landing switch on big jumps. It's like if you've got a spot that's firmer or providing more pressure, you land switch on a big jump and like it just hurts so much. So these feel like stiff and great, but like supportive because they're just uniform. And then my fifth is I feel better as a skier.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for that your performance has improved.
Yeah.
The turns look great.
I feel it mostly carving.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like the biggest benefit is I just have so much control, and like the power transfer to the inside edge of your ski is so direct and just so awesome. So those are my 5 likes. I tried really hard to come up with 5 dislikes, and I couldn't. I probably could have racked my brain, but here are my dislikes. Number 1, like you said, Bob, how expensive they are. I do think that's tough. $500 for a liner after you've already spent whatever $800-900 on your boots, and then you're spending another $200-300 on custom footbeds, and it's my boots right now in totality are not far off $2,000.
Right.
Which just like a lot of money for ski boots. So that has to be a dislike. Bob, I don't like that I went from the fastest person to get ready to go skiing to the slowest person out of our group. And it's true. I'm genuinely the slowest person. You wait for me every day.
Yeah, but you just kind of take that into consideration. And if you're going to be more
una-
comfortable and perform better, then it's worth the risk.
Clearly, I'm incapable of leaving my house 5 minutes earlier to accommodate. The other thing that you'll see when I put them on, and this is my third dislike, is just how much stuff is going on. Like, it's not a simple process between the lace and then the cables. There's just like a lot of stuff, and you'll see what I mean. And the other day coaching, I skied in heated socks with ZipFit Liners with dual BOA boots. And people in the lodge were just like, dude, what are you doing? And I was like, I understand that.
Like, this is what I do now.
This is me. This is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do the heated socks very often because it truly was like there was just so much stuff on my foot that it was a bit overwhelming. And then this is a fourth. I can't call it a dislike. I'm putting it in there as a concern. I know that these people talk about them breaking in. I don't want them to change from this. So that's my concern, is that I will start packing out that cork a little bit. And there are spots, so like right here on the tongue is one, you can put more cork in it. And it's not like so much of a dislike, just something that I'm anticipating on the horizon. I'm not like thrilled about having to go through that process.
But you also hear of like the longevity of this product, them lasting 500-600 days.
Yeah, I know.
And
Yeah.
so that gives me cause for optimism and hope.
Me too. I'm I guess less concerned and more just curious.
Yeah.
So that's it for me.
Cool.
Do you want to put them on?
Yeah, I kind of I wanted to put one of these on and one of these on and do a side by side, but I definitely want to film your process.
All right, sure. Well, we brought the GoPro because I know you guys can't quite see our feet on that camera the way that it's framed. So it feels like we're back on snow, Bob.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's a mess in the studio. Sorry about the random boot parts and rubber bands all over the place, but that's basically how this place goes. So yeah, liner first. It's like, my instinct is to like try and get back into the heel pocket as much as you can, but just the way that these things are molded, you're basically like I'm already there. You know, it just feels great right off the bat. I don't make the laces as tight as I can, but pretty darn tight. And then what I've been doing is taking the laces and just kind of sticking them in the top of the liner there, just so they stay out of the way. Here are the big things. So let's see. So that's, we're kind of basically fully closed up there. This is obviously not ratcheted shut, but the big thing for me is getting it as loose as I can here and here. So you pop that off, you take that off, and then I take this cable and pull it all the way out, like literally all the way out. So that for me is huge. And then same thing down here on the lower cuff. You have to take this cable and truly extend it as far as it goes. And like already, like that K2 Cortex over there, the lower cable is longer on that boot, which I thought was really interesting. But I cannot get them on if I don't fully extend this cable right here. Another thing that has happened a couple times is the BOA cable gets like a little bit stuck in the dial, and I think it's all the way extended, but it's not. And then I get my foot halfway through, and I'm just stuck, and I'm just like, like what's happening here? So it's like if I go through the correct process to get ready, it's not that bad. And then you just kind of get your foot in there, and then you want to push out to the side as much as you can, because that's where the softer plastic is on this boot. So like I said, that probably looked pretty easy. And I think a big reason for that is because we're in a pretty warm environment here. And then, for the sake of sake of it, just like putting on a normal ski boot.
A normal ski boot with 2 boas.
I understand, but you know, just like putting on a normal ski boot, I like doing the upper cuff more, and then like I cannot put it into words how tight it is around my ankle right now, and how comfortable my forefoot is. And even if you like ratchet that down, which you don't need to, because there's so much hold in the ankle, it's still really comfortable up here. So, yeah.
That wasn't so bad.
No, it's not so bad. If you go through the right steps and you do everything correctly, and you're in a room that's probably 75 degrees, it's not that bad. It's when the plastic is super cold, and if anything happens with the cables.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've seen me. There have been days where I'm physically struggling.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah.
You're yelling and.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like I don't know. There's no right or wrong. So I have a half an hour commute from my house to the mountain, and basically what I do is I take these and I put them in my back seat, and then I take both shells and I put them in the passenger footwell, and I blast heat on them, and then by the time I get to the mountain, the plastic has warmed up and I can do that. But yeah, it's like not, and then the same, I mean, that's laughably easy compared to this morning.
You just reverse the process.
Yeah. So they're great. I just have to think about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which is different than any other ski boot that I've ever used in my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Your turn.
Okay. All right. I'm going to put stock liner in left boot. So you can see how easy that goes in.
Yeah.
And then
I'm so glad that I never have to do this, what you're about to do.
ZipFit in
I don't
boot.
like putting the ZipFit in a shell without my foot in it now.
It's not easy.
Are you willing to adopt the World Cup method?
It just doesn't work for me.
Is it ankle flexion?
Yes, it's ankle flexion.
Like you physically can't really do it?
I physically can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not flexible enough in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So here's stock liner, like in. So easy.
Yeah.
And like, again, this liner's super comfortable.
Yeah.
No issues.
Yep.
But I can feel cushion.
Yes.
You know, and like
This
a lot of
boot
people
these
might.
don't have any cushion.
There's no
anywhere.
cushion.
Yeah.
So like to me, that's loss of energy.
Yeah.
And then ZipFit, it's just a little stickier. And I like to pull up on the liner, not the strap,
Yeah.
because eventually you're going to get that off. And then just a little tug.
Yeah, not so bad. So like to me, it really looked like you were opening up the lower cuff quite a bit there, and that was the struggle for me trying to do that method with the boa. Is you just can't. There's not enough room to open up that.
And just the tightness and solidness in the flex.
Yeah.
Like my right foot is, here's my left foot flexed. I don't know if it comes through, but.
It absolutely does not, but I take your word for
Yeah,
it.
just so much of a more solid fit.
Yeah. So.
And then I'll just, taking them off too, it's just a little sticky,
Yeah.
but not bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
And this one, I mean, it's just like my boot.
Those Rossignol shoes are sweet.
I know, these are sweet.
Makes my bean boots look kind of old and sad. So, anyways, that's all I've got to say. You got anything else, Bob?
I'm sure we've missed 100 things. You know, there's a lot going on with this system and this process, and I think that it's all. It said it before. Like we are learning this as well.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to go on your own adventure with ZipFit.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I think is
and
fun.
like the other thing that's been interesting, and I'm glad you brought that up because I do think that if possible, you should go to a boot fitter and see if this is something that's going to work for you. It's like you can just buy them online and mold them at home in your microwave like I did. But what I've also found is that they work better in different shells. And I can't tell you what that shell is going to be because everyone's feet are different.
Yeah.
And I think that's contributing to it is like, yeah, my foot in this liner in that shell works great.
Yep.
My foot in this liner in other shells has not worked as great.
Right.
So I can't guarantee that whatever boot you have, if you buy a ZipFit, it's going to feel as good as mine do. So it's just...
Yeah, and that's the tough part about talking about boots and not
Yeah.
putting them on your feet.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, they don't line up well in reality.
Yeah.
So far, personally, I've been pretty over the moon with how these things fit and perform.
Yeah,
And
they're very impressive.
that's what boots are all about.
Yeah. So that's it. Let us know if you have any questions. Like Bob has said several times, like we are far from the most experienced people in the world about ZipFits, but absolutely happy to share more of our experience.
Yeah, I'm happy to put them on camera.
Yeah, it's like, it truly is funny how easy that is. Like inside, they're just so warm and flexible.
Yeah.
So anyways, let us know if you have any questions and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.